Clam prop! Hi guys, it's Spence from Video Spence. In the last video I made, I hinted at the fact that HitFilm Express, along with what I show you, is going to make it really amazing for you to share not just your videos, but also to make beautiful still imagery. And that means that you're not just going to learn how to frame the shots, but I'm going to give you presets that allow you to drop in just about any type of either digital still image or to take a clip from one of your videos and use it as a still image. And then by just applying the presets that I provide, you'll be able to have your images punch out, really become interesting and vibrant, and the kind of thing that you'd be both really proud of for yourself, but proud enough to show to your friends and your family and so forth. And because all of these images start out at such a high resolution, they'll print up really nicely if you ever wanted to actually frame it. But of course, they'll also work really well on your website, in Facebook, and so forth. So just to give you a sneak peek, today I was inspired by some work of Damien Beresford, an old pal of mine who was doing some work with, or flying I should say, it doesn't seem like work, with Mark Morton. And I saw this shot, which I really liked because it's got a good sense of one of those situations where the image is really nice, it's got some fall colors, but it's just missing that special oomph that I think you can add. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to show you here. This is the image in the sort of before, and then here's the after. Before and after. Now again, there's a stylistic element here. A lot of this is punching out some certain colors and making some things a little more dramatic. But that's the whole point, is that depending on what mood you're in, you can punch out the sunsets and the sky and the trees and the color. And I'm going to show you, it's just some simple things that take you about 2 seconds with the presets, but really make a great difference between the wonderful shot that needs maybe a little something to something that, in my opinion, really punches out. So let me show you how I did this. In HitFilm Express, what I basically did is I imported the original image. And let me start you out literally here. This is the original one from Mark. Now, of course, I've cropped it to a 16:9 shape, but that's just for convenience so it fits in my editor nicely. Next, what I did is two things. I actually added a duplicate of the image as a global effects layer. Remember, I told you that we're going to have layers like a birthday cake. The purpose is that so I can make the changes to any of the global elements and have them sit on top of the original image as well as any composites. I also made a second layer that's called a composite layer. And the purpose for this was that I could make a special thing called a mask. And a mask is exactly what it sounds like. It's an area that I can draw or define on the screen that only gets the special attention. And nothing else gets the special attention. In this case, I added a little more vibrant colors and some other things, and the shape is sort of a little bit of a modified circle. If I wanted to, I can also reverse that around and do an inverted mask, which means it protects the area and only affects the things around it. Let me show you how this works. When I turn on the mask, it's very subtle, but you see that this area right in here gets that punch up, and the rest doesn't. Okay? And then when I add the global effects, I did some other things where I put a vignette around, I concentrated the blacks and the whites. I also shifted the color a little bit towards red, and the net result is this effect. I'm going to show you the breakdown of that in a second. If I turn off the composite mask, it's not quite as easy to see the difference. The middle is just very subtle, but definitely you see the effect of the global. Now, in those effects, all I really did was I turned them on because these were already predefined, and I had made these and I'd saved these. So I'll be able to give these to you guys as an example of how quick this can be. You can then apply them to your images, and all you have to do is just move a couple things around and tweak a couple things, and just about any kind of shot that's similar to this will have a similar output. So let me show you the individual effects. On the global layer, I can see here the effects, and I have the vignette, which I'll turn off. I have the glow, which really punches out the middle here. And then I have the color balance. That's where I shifted things to the red. You see, when I turn that off, it goes back to green. And if I add any of these back on, vignette, glow, color balance, you see how those come together. Now, for the mask, I had to do something a little more advanced. Like I said, I had to make a shape. So here, I clicked on the copy of the original image, and then what I did was I added this button here, Make Composite Shot. And when I did, I have a new tab that shows up that gives me the individual elements. And you'll notice that I can look at the layer itself, or I can look at the viewer together. The viewer gives me a little bit better view of what's happening. And here what I did is I essentially added a mask that I called Intensity on the Trike. And what this is essentially a drawing. It's a circular shape drawing that allows me to essentially limit this to the area you see. It looks like an oval. And the reason it looks so soft is because I feathered it. So if I was to click on it, you'd see the actual shape that I used. And if I wanted to, I could drag this, make it bigger and smaller. And if I had a different image here, like you're going to use for yourself, I could just grab the focal point. I can move it anywhere I want so that it lines up on the center of my particular point of interest. In this case, my trike. And that's why this whole process is going to be so fun for us to do together. Because most of the work has already been done here. And all you need to do is drop in your own image of a trike that's similarly situated. And then you can adjust each of these individual effects that are already here just simply by following the same steps. It's going to expedite your learning. It's going to make it more fun. And then you can export. To export the end result, all I have to do is go to Options. And then I say Export Frame. And now it's ready for use, let's say inside of social media or otherwise. Now, the beauty of all this is that the settings that you make for yourself can also be saved as your own custom presets, which makes it super easy because as you learn and as you follow my videos, you'll be able to take what I give you and build up your own library, just like I have here, of these presets. Let me show you a couple quick things before I go. If I wanted to do so, I could add more effects. These are going to be a little ridiculous, but let's say I wanted to really pump up the red. All I do is grab the extra red boost effect, drop it on top, boom, I'm done. Here I can adjust the shadows and make the red a little more or a little less intense. Likewise, I could do something, for example, like intense black. If I want to really punch the overall colors, it's a little intense, but you get the drift. I can likewise go in and adjust the settings, make it a little more, a little less, until I like what I see. In doing this, I can make my images look exactly as I want without really having to be a photographer or an expert in anything with computers. When I'm done, I export it, and there you go. There'll be lots more lessons like this, so if you enjoy this kind of stuff, please let me know by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, sharing it with your friends, and so forth. And I also welcome your comments, either here if you're looking at this on YouTube or in Facebook, or over at trikepilot.com. My email, if you want to reach me for any suggestions, is info@trikepilot.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.
Clamp prop!